muckers, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you're all having the best day ever. Thank you so much for clicking on my video. I really appreciate you being here and I appreciate your time. I'm very interested for the conversation surrounding today's video. So, we are going to be talking about Colleen Ballinger, friend of the channel, and there is basically a lot of people that have been sending me this video from this YouTuber called the Dad Challenge Podcast. Now, I'm going to be linking both of his videos down below on this topic because I was getting sent these so much and people were asking for my comment on them. But again, this is all stemming from his videos speaking out against Colleen. And again, they will be linked down below. Go check them out. Shout out to the Dad Challenge Podcast. But basically, the conversation is that Colleen Ballinger has been vlogging on YouTube. And she recently released one that said that she was basically forced to move out of her house. So she lives in a house in LA and she was moving to another house in LA, I assume. And the full point of the vlog was that people weren't respecting her privacy and that she didn't feel safe and that people felt like, you know, they were best friends with her, so they would show up to your house or they would, you know, do all these different things. It was basically about the violation of privacy and that she didn't feel safe in the house anymore. So she moved. Now, this has sparked an entire conversation online, and I mean, her comment section is filled with it underneath this vlog, and I mean, on so many different Reddit threads, they're talking about this as well. I know there's a Colleen Ballinger Reddit that a lot of people have been sending me as well, but basically, there's this big conversation now, because she's a family mommy vlogger. She's a mommy vlogger, which, by the way, whenever we were friends, she used to shit talk her sister-in-law for doing and showing every moment of their child online. So it's shocking to me, like, catching up with Colleen a few years later and seeing that she's became everything that she talked shit about with me privately about her. Anyway, but the reason I do want to speak about this is because I don't really talk about Colleen on my channel anymore, like months and months ago or something like that. The reason I want to talk about this is because if I don't, I'm a hypocrite. I have been calling Trisha Paytas out profusely on my channel for the fact that she's seemingly going down this mommy vlogger route, which is, you basically talk about how once you have your baby, you're going to respect their privacy and blah, 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 and then once the baby's born, you post that initial video, you realize that you can get a new peak on YouTube, you're getting so much money, you're getting so many views, so your entire brand becomes your children, and your children are your sole income, you're exploiting every single moment of them online, allowing random strangers to have parasocial relationships with your children who do not know that they exist. And there are so many people on the internet that are watching these family channels with bad intentions, and unfortunately that is the truth. And a lot of people say, well, we shouldn't be shaming, you know, the mothers for vlogging. Yes, they should, because they're not protecting their children. They're putting their children in harm's way for the sake of making income. It is not normal to, from the time you're born, literally your birth video, for the sake of Trisha and Colleen, if we're using this as an example, until the time you're 18, every single waking moment of you on the internet. And that puts your children, their privacy at risk. So the full argument that is happening is that Colleen Ballinger, there's like no irony that she's like catching on to, that she is talking and crying in this video about how her privacy is being violated and she's being forced to move house because, you know, people are, you know, finding her address and, you know, people think that they really know her and they're showing up at her house and all like this. And people are saying, so you can have privacy and it's a problem when your privacy gets violated, but on the same channel, in the same video even, you're violating your children's privacy because you're posting everything about them online. Now the thing is as well, Colleen Ballinger posting her children online, she's spoken about the fact that before she gave birth, that a lot of people, you know, would show up at her old apartment, would show up at her old houses, and that she's felt unsafe, you know, uploading videos online before because people have, you know, very much so abused that parasocial relationship, and there's been stalkers, or there's been, you know, people with bad intentions, or blah, 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 blah. This was way before she's 3 kids, way before she had all 3 of them. So I don't think that you're doing a good job parenting if you're openly admitting, and I don't know why she's openly admitting this, because she's just opened herself up to so much criticism here. You're openly admitting that your job, YouTube, has put you in danger before. And the reason for that danger is that you're showing your everyday routine, your everyday life. People think that they're your friend, blah, 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 blah. And then once your children are born, you basically put them in that cycle without them being able to consent to it. So every time now I hear her complaining about my privacy is being violated, blah, 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 she had a choice to do that. She became a YouTuber, she chose that profession, her children didn't. So can you imagine whenever her children grow up and there's people that have been watching them since the time they're born who think that they know them, the children have no idea who they are, and as a parent, you're putting your child in the same danger that you put yourself on being a YouTuber, but that was your choice and it's not your children's choice because they can't consent to it. So it's just like, I don't know if she is a clever woman and she's a clever businesswoman. I can tell you that for a fact. And I know that this is literally just like profit over anything else. And I mean, it's very apparent. Like her channels, and this was something the Dad Challenge podcast said as well, she's easily making hundreds of thousands of dollars on YouTube per month. And none of that is like original content. That is all to do with her children. So across her main channel and her second channel, she's pulling in hundreds of thousands of dollars per month based on her children. And then Miranda Sings, nobody's watching that anymore anyway, and the ones that they do involve the children. So her children are pulling in hundreds of thousands of dollars per month for her. If the children were pulled back, I mean, we would see the lack of content she would have. But it's like, that was her responsibility and that was her job to protect her children. So she's complaining that they're, you know, being forced to move house and blah, 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 blah. All these different things, okay? And then at the same breath, continuing to post her children. Like, it is boiling down to a conversation of her posting her children online has given her more fame, more money than ever before in her career. So she's going to continue to come on and complain about the downsides of that, which is that she has no privacy. People are showing up at her house. She feels danger, she feels whatever. And then she brings her children into that. In her vlogs, she talks about going to the same cafes every day because they're minutes away from her house, or, you know, different parks they go to. So not even protecting the location of the children. And now it is disgusting of people to cross those boundaries and, you know, show up to people's houses or all these different really creepy things with YouTubers. It's really fucking insane. But for her to openly acknowledge in this video that she had this problem with her YouTube channel for years upon years before having children, and then willingly involving her children in that, is not protecting your children. But we're gonna get to this. Now, again, the Dad Challenge podcast, the video will be linked down below, but under her video that we have here, there's like a lot of comments already that are talking about this. People are like, this is even more reason for you to keep your children private. People not only know where you live, but they now know the details of your children's personalities, and this doesn't seem safe at all. And then a lot of people are saying, tortilla talk question. There is a lot of debate surrounding kids' safety online, and some parents deciding not to show their kids at all as they can't consent or it leads to safety issues. I don't know where I stand fully on this, but I wonder what your opinion is of it because of you and your brother's family, basically your entire career being your children. So we're gonna get to this video. This is on her vlog channel, Colleen Vlogs. It's called I Can Finally Talk About This. And this is basically her talking about why she's being forced to move out of her house. And again, I can't believe that she isn't seeing the irony in this. But again, I genuinely believe that she probably does see the irony in it. And it's just like, it's an easy way to make money by posting this video and starting this conversation or whatever like that. And it's just like, by the way, Colleen is someone who has made many videos on YouTube before talking about the fact that she knows that there's P-words watching Family Channel content. And she actually made a video attacking YouTube for disabling the comments on Family Channel videos because YouTube were trying to suppress Family Channel content because they really didn't want, you know, just footage of children online. Colleen made a video and was one of the pioneers that made them reverse that change by basically saying you know, we're the victims, we shouldn't be, you know, what was the word she was using? We shouldn't be, our content shouldn't be suppressed, we shouldn't be getting in trouble for the fact there's P-words out there. And I couldn't believe that she was, openly, saying, who cares if, we put all of our children online and P-words are watching them, because basically that's our main source of income. So don't take it from us, YouTube. This is why I have such a problem with any family channel, any mommy vlogger, anything. You're directly putting your children at harm's way. So anyway, let's hear what she has to say about I Can Finally Talk About This, why she moved. So again, this is on her channel, watching this for fair use commentary purposes.
Or yesterday because I was unpacking. Moving is so intense. I guess I've never moved like this before. Like, I've moved from apartments. I've moved from a home to another home, but like I was only living in that home for like a year or something before. I've never lived longer than like a year in one place except for like my childhood home. I was born and raised in the same house, and then I moved to college with just a few things. And then ever since college, like literally every single year or less, I moved. Like, I'd live in a place for 9 months, 8 months, a year, whatever. And then the house that I bought, I've lived in for so many freaking years. I don't even know how many years at this point, like 7, 6? I actually have no idea. A long time, many years. And it's been really hard because it's also not just me. Every time I've ever moved before, it's been like, I just have to deal with my stuff. But now that I'm dealing with all my kids' stuff, and kids have a lot of stuff, it's been absolutely insane. My brain is just going a million miles a minute. I am losing my mind. So I didn't vlog anymore yesterday, and today we have just been unpacking boxes as much as we can. Actually, we're not even unpacking boxes yet. What we're doing is organizing where boxes go. This house is so much different than my last house. The rooms are all different. The space is so different. There's nowhere to put anything because it's an older house.
By the way, I mean, she's already teasing the fact that she's going to be doing like a house tour, which is like, you are not protecting yourself, but more importantly, your children, because that's what matters most in this. If you're, again, showing all the locations around your neighborhood, what shops you go to, what Target's close to you, whatever like that, showing your back garden, showing the front of your house, showing all like this, you're doing everything just to create the maximum amount of content to make the most amount of money, but in the process, you're neglecting your child's safety. Mommy vloggers, family channels should not be a genre on YouTube. Like, that's why I've been so outspoken about Trisha on this, because seeing another woman go down this route, and it's just like, oh my, this is not right. This is really not right. These children are being put at danger by their own family. If you've openly admitted that you've had problems with stalkers and people trying to like barge their way into your life just because of your YouTube channel, and then when you have kids, they become the star of your videos, you are not protecting them. I'm gonna keep reiterating that point. Anyway. So, she's moving from house to house, and then it all goes down the drain once she starts showing the house again in these vlogs with her kids, playing out the back, playing out the front, blah, 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 blah. Because this isn't boiling down to privacy. Because if this was really to do with privacy, her children wouldn't be in the videos. And she also just wouldn't be showing her house at the magnitude she does. And no, that's not blaming her, like, you know, or sorry, that's not making her, you know, like the victim or whatever like that. Or I'm trying to figure out what I'm trying to say here. Like, she's the one doing all this, so I have no sympathy for her, is basically what I'm trying to say. Like, if she was someone who, you know, did what every other YouTuber did, which is like film in a room or film in a studio or film whatever, and she's not doing that. She's showing everything about her house, and unfortunately, there's really scary people out there that are going to abuse that. And if you've openly admitted that you've, you know, done this routine in the past of, you know, showing near your apartment whenever you were younger, and then people show up to it or whatever like that, and then you have kids and you're not even doing the decency of like being careful of where you're filming or blah 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 blah, and now in this new house also filming in this and starting the same cycle again, it's very easy to just not have your job be your children. Not have your children be online all the time. Like, it's really fucking easy.
Built-in like cabinets and.
But that doesn't matter whenever they're making hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Stuff, so we have to figure out where we want stuff to go, and then we have to. So that's what we've been up to. It's been very, very stressful. Okay, I'm gonna take you guys in my office before. So my office in my last house had a literal, and I have no closet here. So I think I'm gonna have to buy dressers and things and figure out where to put stuff and store stuff, maybe get a storage unit. It's very overwhelming. It sounds like we're downsizing pretty big. We are and we aren't. It's just a very different kind of house. Like everything that my last house was, this house is completely opposite. We're downsizing in some ways, but we're also not in other ways. Like I'll show you guys the house eventually, like once we get a little more situated. Right now it's just like a hot mess and everything's ever.
She's literally saying, I'll show you the house once it's all like clean, basically. So starting the same cycle again. So this doesn't boil down to privacy. Are we getting that? This does not boil down to privacy because she would not be doing this in that case. So what is it boiling down to?
But yeah, I wanted to talk to you guys about something that I've never been able to talk about before, and I can finally talk about it. I'm like a little nervous to talk about it, but I guess I'll be brave enough to talk about it right now for a second. One of the main reasons why we really needed to move from our last place is because we didn't feel safe there. When you are a person that people know, a celebrity, a social media person, like whatever, people become obsessed with like figuring out your address for some reason, and this is not something I have ever talked about before, really. I mean, I kind of have a couple times, like when I lived in New York doing waitress, and someone figured out where I was staying at my apartment there, and they were like waiting outside my apartment. I talked about that once, but it was because I knew I was leaving that apartment. But at my house, I could never talk about it because I lived there, and if I talked about it, it would mean more people would then be like, oh, we can go to her house, and they would show up. And this is something that a lot of like my friends who are in the industry, who are well known, whether they be like mainstream celebrities or social media people, we talk about this often, how frustrating it is when people figure out your address and show up to your house, because there's nothing you can do about it. You feel very violated, and like, I can't.
But there is something she can do about it. Are we seeing that she is like just prolonging the problem because it's making her a lot of money? She said there's nothing we can do about it. A couple seconds before that, she said that she can't wait to show everyone, you know, her best friends who watch the videos, the new house. So starting the same thing. So this isn't boiling down to privacy, because she wouldn't be doing that. There's nothing I can do, she says. She's now moved because of that issue in the previous house, and she says she can't wait to show off this new house.
It's like one of the worst feelings I've ever felt in my life, and we can't talk about it, because if you talk about it publicly, then more people will be like, oh, we can go to her house, look, someone went to her house, I'll go to her house. This has happened to so many friends of mine. That happened.
So if that logic applies, why is she showing her new house then? If she's not gonna have everyone talking about her address now, why is she like, I can't wait to show you the new house?
At my last house, people would spread my address, talk about my address, even if like they meant well. They'd be like, oh my gosh, Colleen, did you know this is your address? And then like tweet it to me and be like, look, you guys, Colleen's address is out there. Whether it was like, ha ha ha, we got her address, everyone just spread it and being mean, or whether it's people being like, oh no, did you know this is her address? Look, it's right here, everyone can see it. Both ways are like spreading my address, and like were making me feel more and more unsafe. Now, it's one thing to just spread the address online, but like people were showing up to my house, and I've had to move multiple times because of this reason. People would show up and go through my mail, knock on the windows, peer through all my windows, bang on the door, scream outside my house. I had people at my last house constantly outside screaming, Miranda, Miranda, come outside, like, screaming at me. It's very...
So is she acknowledging the irony of her saying that in a lot of her previous places she's lived when she didn't have kids, there were people literally banging on her windows, showing up at her house, trying to get her out, like looking in her window, all these different things, right? And then she decided to bring her children into that world of showing which bedroom the children sleep in, or the children's routine of when they're going out to the garden playing, or that is not protecting your children. Call a spade, she's not protecting her children here. And she would be able to play dumb if she hadn't just made this video saying that she knows that like, this is a problem, this is what happens, but then being like, it's like fucking crazy. It's like
comfortable, and it's very unnerving having thousands or millions of strangers know where you live, because that's just, I mean, obviously it's making me emotional. Always surprised, I'm always emotional. But it is a very violating feeling when people show up to your house that you don't know, and you don't know what their intention.
And once your children understand that their entire life is online, and that millions of people think that they know the child and can use that against them, knowing what they like, knowing what they don't like, blah 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 blah, you'll realize then they'll tell you how violated they feel. Like we've been dealing with the amount of like anonymous posts that have been going up from Family Channel children talking about how violated they feel. We'll be getting to that soon. Do you hear the fucking winds? Jesus.
It's really scary. So
it is scary. It is scary.
It happened quite...
It's incredibly scary. So it's like, why are you subjecting your children to this? I don't get it. I don't get it. That's not protecting your children.
At my last place, I would have panic attacks, and I always felt like I had to look over my shoulder, and even though we had really good security and...
This is an awful feeling, but surely she would use this and apply it to the new house and not say that we're going to show you the house and blah blah blah, can't wait for this new journey, besties. Like, it's...
So even though we went to the utmost extreme.
That's why this doesn't make sense that you're saying this about privacy, because you're doing it again.
Like security systems and alarms and locks and gates, and obviously it's going the full. There's still a really uncomfortable feeling that happens where you feel very disrespected, very uncomfortable. I felt like a lot of times, a lot of nights, I feel like I had to like hide from the windows in case people were peeking in or cars would slow down in front of my house. It makes you very paranoid. It makes you just really scared. And especially when you get...
I can't imagine how scary that is, but why are you subjecting your children to this? I understand you're making so much money, and if you pull back on the children content, you wouldn't make as much money. But it's like, what means more to you at this stage? Like, you are a millionaire. Like, what means more? Making more money or protecting your children?
A lot of terrifying messages on the internet. Obviously I get a lot of love, you guys are incredible, but I also get a lot of messages from people who say they want me to die. So when you get messages like that and then you see people...
So you're subjecting your children to this even further by now in this new house you've moved from. You're going to continue, which you have been doing with these vlogs, showing your children's routine, showing your routine, and just starting the cycle over again. It's like you're complaining about something that is so... You've moved to change, but now you're doing it again because obviously it makes the most amount of money.
Very scary, uncomfortable feeling.
I can't imagine how scary that is, but you can do something about it. You can do something about it, and if you delete all the videos with your children on it, people will not be able to know what they're doing every single day, knowing their routine, knowing what park they go to, knowing all this thing. There are ways around this. There are ways around this. Starting at that, and number two, I don't know why you've moved if you're just doing the same thing again. If you are feeling terrified by people banging on your window and stuff like that, how do you think your children would feel? They'd be fucking terrified. Especially now that your fan base have only known you half your life. But your fan base will have known their children, or known your children, all of their life. Which is terrifying. And why this should have never got to this point. And what you can do now is stop making your children the stars of the videos.
That was a big reason why we had to leave my dream home, was because, you know, people would...
So why are you doing it again?
Pictures. Like, I would see people come up to the windows, like, right up to my... This was years ago before we got better security, but come right up to my windows and my door and, like, try to take pictures inside the house. So we had to, obviously, frost all the windows, get better security, get better gates, get better cameras. Even though we had all that stuff before, we had to, like, up it all because people were literally trying to, like, film inside of my home and film inside of my car and bang on the windows and scream outside my house. It's just very uncomfortable, not fun feeling that caused a lot of anxiety, a lot of stress. And now that I have kids, it was just even more important for us to like find a new place that felt a lot safer. Anyway, I just want to say...
But you just said you can't wait to show it off and you already are in the videos. Listen, let me tell you what this boils down to. As someone who knows this woman, let me tell you what the truth is here. The truth is, I can only imagine that they have... Her and Eric have saved up and got an even bigger house. I can only imagine that they've gotten a bigger house. And she does these things where she will go online and she'll complain, or she'll almost like lessen the blow of letting her audience know how rich she is. Because that was always something we talked about. She never wanted her audience to know how rich she was. So this is what she's doing. She's complaining about having to move. She's complaining about this new house isn't really my favorite and all like this. Whenever this house is her favorite, I can only assume, and I can only assume it's an amazing house. But for her to immediately, as she's going to show it off in the house tour, this, I can only, like, what, like, I don't even know, like, what, like Jeffree Star-esque or something like that, to lessen the blow of her audience being shocked at realizing how rich she really is, and you know that she's living in, I can only assume, like a multi-million-dollar mansion or whatever like that. She does this, where then whenever she shows it off, everyone will be like, oh my god, this is so insane, Colleen, but you know, we're really sorry you had to move, and it's almost like pitying, and it like lessens the blow of your audience realizing that like, they're nothing like you. So, I mean, I see right through this. If that wasn't the truth, I'd be willing to put my hand up and say, oh, that's not the truth. But it is the truth, because she's complaining about this has to do with privacy, but then she's openly stating that she's really not going to do anything about it in the new house. So, if you want to know the truth on this situation, I can bet 90% that that's the reason, so, surprise. Anyway, let's continue this riveting video.
Do you ever see a celebrity or social media, not that I'm like, I'm a celebrity, but like, do you ever see a social media person, a celebrity, or anyone, honestly, and you see their address or personal information or phone number or just anything personal like that spread all over the internet? Don't share it. Don't spread it. Don't go to people's houses. I really can't explain how unnerving and scary and uncomfortable that is. It's really, really a horrible, horrible feeling, especially with someone with like anxiety. It's really not fun. Hi, thank you so much. Sorry, our gardeners came in and was chatting. Anyway, just remember.
Oh my god, the switch was crazy. Listen, I completely agree with her. Every single point about how scary this must feel, how unnerving, how, especially when you have kids. But surely that would have changed how you acted, but it hasn't, because profit over privacy. So it's like, I feel bad for you, but there's only so much I can feel bad for you whenever you're not even not doing anything about it, but you're openly making it worse. And we know that you're openly making it worse by contradicting yourself throughout this video. Your children's privacy and safety should be your #1 concern, but it doesn't seem to be. Your career is.
People are people and human beings, and I want to have privacy sometimes. But all that being said, it's not because I don't love meeting you guys and seeing you, because I do genuinely love that. That is like my favorite part of my job.
This is the don't unsubscribe part.
I get to meet you guys and seeing you after the shows, or when I'm out and about and people come up and say hi to me. Like, I always stop. I will always take a picture. I always am excited to say hi and give you hugs and like talk to you. It makes me so happy to put a face to the people that I'm talking to through this camera. Like, I can't express enough how happy you guys make me, and I genuinely love you so much. I just, you know, in my last house, like, I just
yeah. That really helps your argument here whenever you're like, I just love you so much and you make my life so much better, and like this, feeding into this single thing that deranged people on the internet thrive off of, and then show up at the property that you're openly showing off every single day. In no way does that mean what they're doing is right, but what you're doing isn't right either. I just like, what is it going to take for YouTube to like protect children? You know what I mean?
And privacy, and I didn't want to feel like I was being watched like 24/7. I only want to be watched in the amount of...
Like, your kids will realize that they've been, once they turn like 18 or 21, they realize that they've been watched without wanting to, you know, be watched. Like, I really wonder if she sees the irony here. There's one of two things. She either knows that what she's saying is, like, very ironic, or she's, like... I'm not gonna say it, but, like...
minutes that I post on the internet in these videos, if that makes sense. So anyway, that was a big reason that we had to move, and I was never able to talk about it. There are obviously other reasons, too. You know, we wanted a bigger yard for our kids, and we...
So... that was the reason they moved, privacy, but... there's nothing going to change at this new house. So what, are we going to move in a year's time from this house too? Everything she's complaining about and being like, there's nothing I can do. There is stuff you can do, especially when it boils down to your children needing your protection. Are people realizing, like, that argument? Where it's like, she's openly saying that she feels violated. She feels her privacy is being stripped from her. She's blah, 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 blah. And she's completely ignoring the fact that she's currently and has done this to her 3 children since the time they were born. I mean, it's like a quick look at her channel here. Main and vlog channel. Since the time her first kid was born, there's not a video that isn't revolved around the kids. And if it's not that, then it's literally just them in the title and thumbnail. And it's like, it's creepy. It really is creepy. Very much so. Especially since she knows, you know, how weird it is, because she would say about her sister-in-law doing it all the time. And that they were showing off every moment, and when they would come over to her house, you know, like she just wanted a moment where the kids weren't being watched and blah, blah, blah. Like, so that's what it boils down to with all these people. They make a lot of money, and they really don't care. And they'll cross the bridge of their children being put in danger even more if something really awful happens. Unfortunately, because there's deranged people on the internet who your children need protection from, and you're like, there's nothing I can do. It's as simple as not putting your children online. Most people don't. Most people don't. Anyway, Muckers, let me know your opinion on this. Again, the Dad Challenge podcast will be linked down below. I'd really check them out. And yeah, let me know your opinion. We'll talk about it. I love you. Thank you for watching this video. And bye. Weird. Okay, bye.